You're staring at your phone at 2 a.m., completely exhausted, but if someone asked you what you're feeling right now, you wouldn't have an answer. Not because nothing is there, but because you trained yourself not to notice it. And the worst part is, you don't even remember when that started. Somewhere along the way, you stopped checking in with yourself because nothing ever came back when you did. You assume you were just built this way, that you are naturally low maintenance, a little detached, maybe just someone who does not get rattled. Society loves that. They call you the rock, the friend who never has drama, the partner who never demands too much. But here is the brutal truth. You are not low maintenance. You are running a highly sophisticated defense mechanism. You learned early on that having needs was a liability. When you reached out emotionally as a kid, it was met with a blank stare, distraction, or worse, annoyance. So you did the only logical thing. You shut the system down. And this is where you've been lied to. Trauma isn't always loud. The explosions, the screaming, the broken glass. But what happens when the damage is entirely defined by what did not happen? You go to your room, you cry, nobody comes, and after a while, you stop expecting anyone to. You sit at the dinner table, trying to say something that actually matters, and they just talk over you. That's when you learn something dangerous. Not to feel less, but to show less. And now, as an adult, you are a master at it. You can walk into a party, read the mood of everyone in the room, figure out exactly what they need from you, and deliver it perfectly. You are the funny one. You are the competent one. You are the fixer. But if one of those people turns around and asks you genuinely what you want, your mind just goes totally blank. Here's what most people don't realize. You were never supposed to figure this out alone. In 1991, Dr. Peter Fonagy at University College London studied how children actually learn to process their own feelings. He found they do not just figure it out alone. They learn through emotional mirroring. A caregiver sees the kid upset and says, "You look sad right now." That reflection is what teaches the child that their internal state is real, that it can be named, that it matters. Without that mirror, something stays unfinished. You know something is wrong. Your chest feels tight, your body feels heavy, but you can't translate it into anything clear. You just say, "I'm fine," and move on. There's actually a name for this, systemia, which is just a clinical way of saying you can feel everything, but you can't understand any of it. You end up saying, "I am fine," while your body is quietly operating in a state of absolute somatic burnout. You sit on the edge of your bed after a long day, staring at the wall, feeling this massive, unnamed weight crushing your ribs, and you just tell yourself you are tired, you just need sleep. Yeah, it's not sleep, it's something you were never taught how to feel. But it actually gets weirder. This is not just a psychological habit, it physically alters the way you experience reality. Dr. Ruth Lanius at the University of Western Ontario looked at the brains of people who experienced early emotional neglect. She found profound alterations in the default mode network. That's the part of your brain that shapes how you experience yourself and your internal narrative. When you spend years suppressing your needs because nobody is responding to them, the brain adapts by essentially turning down the volume on your own consciousness. It leaves you in a constant state of emotional flatness, which raises an uncomfortable question. How many times have you been in a moment that was supposed to be joyful? A graduation, a wedding, a quiet morning with someone you love, and you felt absolutely nothing. You are looking around, watching everyone else smile, and you are just faking it, mimicking the expressions of the people around you so nobody notices that you are experiencing your own life from behind a pane of thick glass. It makes you feel like a sociopath. You wonder if you are just broken. You are not broken. You're not choosing independence. You're avoiding unpredictability. Society assumes everyone wants deep, vulnerable connection, but you are playing a completely different game. You are playing the game of absolute self-reliance. Because if you never need anyone, you can never be disappointed. If you keep everyone at arm's length, nobody can suddenly drop you. And this is where it gets confusing. The same behavior that makes you successful in life slowly ruins your ability to connect.
We praise independence in every single corporate and financial sector. But the second someone applies that exact same risk management strategy to their emotional life, we call them, sure, the science is clear. Pushing people away isolates you. But honestly, if connection was historically unpredictable and unsafe for you, shutting it down was the smartest move you could have made. It kept you intact. And this is where it starts to hurt the people around you. Back in 1985, Dr. Mary Main at UC Berkeley mapped out what happens when chronic unmet needs force the nervous system to adapt. He identified the dismissive avoidant adaptation. The brain downregulates the desire for connection so severely that closeness actually triggers a threat response. When someone is consistently kind to you, when they actually show up and offer you unconditional support, it does not feel safe. It feels suffocating. You immediately feel suspicious. You start looking for the catch. You pull away right when it gets real, convinced that they are eventually going to realize you are empty inside and leave anyway. So you leave first. You sabotage it. And this is the part people never say out loud. You complain about being lonely, but the second someone tries to truly know you, you lock the door and swallow the key. You want to be seen, but the second someone actually looks closely, you panic. Because being seen means being known, and being known means they might finally see how much you actually need. And that's the one thing you were trained to hide. You claim you just have high standards for the people you date. You are just terrified of being a burden. You just want someone to look at you and know exactly what you need without you having to humiliate yourself by asking for it. When a conflict happens, you do not yell, you do not throw things, you just vanish. You retreat into your mind and pull the drawbridge up. You give them the silent treatment, but it is not to punish them. It is because your vocal cords literally feel paralyzed, and the exhaustion you feel every single day, it is not from your job. It is not from your lack of sleep. It is the exhausting, invisible math you do in every single social interaction to ensure you never take up too much space. You rewrite a text message 4 times to make sure it sounds casual. You apologize when someone else bumps into you. You listen to your friends complain about their lives for hours, offering perfect advice. Then, when they finally ask, "How are you?" you just deflect. "Oh, I'm good. Just busy." It is a lie. You know it. They buy it. Because you are so good at selling it. You became the person who never needs anything, because needing something never worked. Because somewhere in your childhood, you internalized the most heartbreaking rule of all. To be loved, you must be useful. And to be useful, you must never be a problem. You are the designated fixer, the low-maintenance friend, the one who carries the weight of the world and acts like it is light. Holding your breath for years doesn't mean you don't need oxygen. It just means you got used to surviving without it. You were never avoiding connection. You were avoiding the moment you reached out and nothing came back. So you adapted. You built a life where you never have to rely on anyone, and it worked. You became independent, reliable, untouchable. But there's a cost to that, because the same system that protects you from being disappointed also makes sure nobody ever gets close enough to prove you wrong. So the question isn't whether you can survive like this. You already have. The real question is, are you protecting your peace, or are you just afraid of being a burden? If this hit you, subscribe.